Howdy folks, I'm DT Dress, delightfully dancing with dapper dungarees.
I'm Amber.
And here are more dapper dungarees for us to dance with because, dresses, dungarees, they get together, they have a little bit of fun, and before you know it, you've got a whole wardrobe. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my brother that I'm not showing favoritism when I support my nieces and nephews, not including a bully, his stepdaughter? I am a 20-year-old male, several years younger than all of my siblings. They're married with kids for the most part and settled while I'm still in college. I live close to my family, so even when I'm on campus, I can see them easily at weekends. I was always close with my nieces and nephews. One of my nieces, Elodie, a 10-year-old female, is on the spectrum. She is the sweetest kid, but doesn't pick up on sarcasm or when someone is making fun of her, and this can cause problems for her in school. My brother Nick, a 33-year-old male, got married a few months ago and is the stepdad to Sophia, an 11-year-old female. Sophia has been caught bullying Elodie several times and mocking her, teasing her in a mean-spirited and generally being unkind to her. Elodie didn't realize until Sophia started saying downright awful things to her. The rest of my nieces and nephews didn't like that, and now, when we're all together, Sophia is excluded. They don't want to be around a bully or force Elodie to act like Sophia is a good person to be around. The bullying has been a point of conflict in the family. Nick and my sister, Elodie's mom, Becca, are hardly talking now, and Nick's wife is determined to defend Sophia, while Becca and her husband are so angry Nick stands by the bullying. The school got involved before summer break, and both sides had emails from teachers about the issue. Nick has taken issue with me still playing and interacting with my nieces and nephews when Sophia is excluded. He is accusing me of favoritism and told me that I should be working on making sure Sophia is included and making the effort to be the fun uncle to her that I am to the others. He said that he's really disappointed in me helping to exclude a young girl. I told him that it's not showing favoritism when I support my nieces and nephews when they don't include Sophia. I told him that it's me protecting Elodie, who doesn't deserve to be bullied among her family. I told him that the kids want to protect their cousin and sister, and if he wants Sophia included, then he and his wife should nip the bullying in the bud, because otherwise I see nothing changing and I won't blame the kids or Becca and her husband for keeping Sophia away from Elodie. Nick told me that all I basically said is I don't care about Sophia and to F me for that. She deserves better. Am I the jerk? Alright folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. Elodie needs safe spaces away from her bully, especially in her home and family homes. She shouldn't even be in the same spaces as them until she can stop bullying Elodie. And it's really disgusting the way Nick and his wife are acting. The whole thing, oh, you're saying you don't care about her? They are showing that they don't care at all about Elodie. As long as Sophia gets her fun bullying people, that's just so gross.
It really is. And I think that that's the biggest issue here I have, is that he's not seeing that Sophia is not being excluded because it's not a form of punishment, right? This isn't like excluding her because she's a stepchild. This isn't excluding her because she's not family. It's excluding her as a way of defending another child against bullying. And I think there's a huge difference between, excluding someone for punishment or any other things and trying to put an end to bullying.
Right, because when you treat the bully the same as the person who's being bullied, it continues to hurt the person who's being victimized. It further victimizes them.
Maybe Sophia needs to go into counseling. And maybe she needs to maybe this needs to be a family counseling type of thing where everyone kind of sits down with therapists and talks about the family dynamics. It's really hard to integrate into families sometimes. So I think that maybe this is one of those situations where that might be necessary.
Yeah, although Elodie certainly shouldn't be part of that because you shouldn't put bullies and their victims together in therapy.
Well, I mean, and that's fair. That's fair, right? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Comfortable C 2454 says, not the jerk. I told him that it's not showing favoritism when I support my nieces and nephews, and they don't include Sophia. I told him that it's me protecting Elodie, who doesn't deserve to be bullied among her family. I told him that the kids want to protect their cousins and sister, and if he wants Sophia included, he and his wife should be nipping the bullying in the bud, because otherwise I see nothing changing, and I won't blame the kids or Becca and the husband for keeping Sophia away from Elodie. This, until your brother and wife deal with Sophia's bullying, the family is going to continue to be fractured because your other nibblings are going to circle the fire and make sure that Elodie is protected. Question: with the emails from the school coming in, why won't Sophia's mom and Nick deal with the bullying? Or is she being treated as the golden child to make up for her being step-family? And OP replies, I'm not sure, they have been called out for it, and they say they are addressing it with Sophia, but she needs compassion and should be treated like any of the other kids in the family would be if they were being their best. It was then pointed out that we never knew her at her best. We just know her as a mean kid to another child who is different and more vulnerable. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to help my sister after she kicked me out? So I, a 21-year-old female, have a sister who's a 27-year-old female who has always had a bit of a rocky relationship with me. About 6 months ago, I was going through a tough time financially and emotionally after losing my job and breaking up with my boyfriend. My sister offered to let me stay with her until I got back on my feet. I was incredibly grateful and I moved in with her. Things were fine at first, but then she started setting really strict rules that made me feel like a prisoner in her home. No guests, no music, curfew by 8 p.m., etc. I did my best to follow her rules, but she would still find reasons to complain and criticize me. One night, I came home an hour late because my bus got delayed, and she completely lost it. She accused me of being irresponsible and disrespectful, and in the heat of the argument, she told me to pack my things and leave. I had no choice but to move out that night and crash on a friend's couch. Fast forward to now, I've managed to get a new job and a small apartment. Meanwhile, my sister lost her job and is struggling to pay rent. She called me a few days ago asking if she could stay with me for a little while. I told her no, explaining that I could not forget how she treated me when I needed help. She got really upset and said that I was being petty and holding a grudge. Our parents are divided on the issue. My mom thinks that I should help her because family is family, but my dad says it was my choice and he understands why I don't want to. Some of my friends think that I'm being too harsh, while others agree with me. So, am I the jerk for refusing to help my sister after she was kicked out? Alright folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk. Your mom can take your sister in. What she did is not cool. She wasn't treating you like a roommate. She was treating you like a disobedient child. Basically power tripping over getting to control OP's movements and whatnot. Buses break down. I used to ride the city bus, and especially in the summertime, the buses overheat, and you gotta wait an hour for the next bus. And it was very frustrating, but sometimes you just can't help it.
Yeah, I think that this 8 p.m. curfew thing, no music, and
Yeah.
McClellan's of other strict rules is not, it doesn't show that she is a very good sister, right?
No, it seems like she's just trying to control OP
hmm
and have reasons to pick fights with her.
And then kicking her out at nighttime
Mm-hmm.
on top of that without giving her any time to collect her stuff or anything like that. OP has every right to be angry with her sister and not to want to forgive her right now, right? Talk about a good reason to hold a grudge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that OP is in the wrong here. I think that she has every right to hold a grudge against her sister. And, this isn't even that long ago. This wasn't 5 years ago, and she's apologized since and said, oh, I was going through a lot of stress or blah, 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 right?
Right. Well, I think that's a good point you raised about the grudge thing, because people like to pull oh, you're holding a grudge as if it's a bad thing, but sometimes it's you have to remember how people treated you. You can't just act like they've never done anything wrong and, extend open arms to them, because you're only going to get more hurt when they then turn around and do awful things to you again.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Cats Kill Kids says, not the jerk. Your sister did help out at first, but really went illogical and control crazy and kicked you out. You moved on and landed on your feet. Your sister now has a problem and can't get out of her way, and her solution is calling mommy. Where was your mother in supporting you under her harsh rule? Family is family, then your mom is showing her true colors. Your sister can't seem to see the irony of this, and won't for some time. But after her treatment of you, you are not the jerk and have every right to deny her the assistant that she denied you. And Lagan Amalek says, 100%. When you've been wronged, it almost always is the case that anyone else saying that you're being petty and holding a grudge, or that family is family, are the offenders or the enablers. I mean, I do wonder why the mom didn't do or say anything at the time when OP got kicked out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems very one-sided, her compassion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Today I Messed Up by Making a Promise to a 3-year-old. So many, many years ago, my daughter was learning to talk, and thanks to my foul mouth, she learned the proper use of curse words fairly quickly. We then spent a lengthy amount of time teaching her what words were inappropriate and what to substitute them with. She would quickly get exasperated and explain in her way that substitute words don't have the same oomph as a curse word. And of course, all the grandparents thought this was hilarious and adorable and encouraged the use of the foul language. At some point during all this teaching, I supposedly promised my 3-year-old daughter that I would let her cuss when she turned 15. I truly don't remember the promise, but I do remember the conversation involved around the time, and I'm sure I was exasperated that I made this promise to her. So, on her 15th birthday, after blowing out the candles, she immediately jumped for joy, clapped her hands, and exclaimed, "This is the most fantastic birthday ever." Of course, I was in shock. Her father immediately what the F'd her, and then she launched into what had to have been a planned speech about this promise that I made. And now she's been holding onto my words for over a decade. How she is excited to finally be 15, and how she can absolutely curse now because mom promised. In the end, we talked to her and explained how that was a promise made in frustration and exasperation, and while it's unfair to hold me to it, we could compromise. The compromise was that she only use foul language at home, absolutely never at school, and avoid using it around extended family and her younger brothers, who consequently are also looking forward to their 15th birthday, expecting the same deal. I also know that I can't stop her from using foul language around her friends, but I also told her to limit the use in Discord and texting, and again, never at school, never around the other kids' parents. We've taught her to use her best judgment on when the word is acceptable, and we've all toned down our cursing and foul language. She generally is a really good kid, so if cursing is the worst thing that she does as a teenager, I really can deal with it. All right, folks, what do you think of this?
I mean, I think it's amusing. I'm glad that OP is handling this reasonably. And it reminds me of, I read this book, Word Slut, and one of the points she made is like actually scientifically, like curse words are more fun to say. They roll off the tongue in a certain way. So I thought it was funny that the kid brought up that the other words, the substitute words, didn't have the same oof because those short like sounds, they just roll off the tongue better and give words that oomph she's talking about. So
Yeah, I think this is the moral of this lesson is be careful what you say around your kids because you don't know what they're going to repeat, right? And if you don't want your kids using bad language, then you need to be a good example and not use bad language around them and teach them that these kinds of words aren't necessarily acceptable all the time. Now, certainly, like, I think that there are people who are going to use foul language, and there isn't anything wrong with that. I don't think that there is that the use of foul language is bad, but I think there is a time and a place for it. And I think though P is teaching her that there is a time and a place for it, and certainly like there are an appropriate number of places to use this language, right? And if you're in a professional setting, you generally want to avoid using bad language because it's not acceptable to use in those settings, right? So I don't think that OP is wrong for making this promise, but maybe she should have said it for 18. I don't know. I just can imagine the poor exasperated parent being like, please, if you just wait until you're 15, then you can use this language, right? Poor parents, poor parents. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Wibbly Water says she's 15. The amount of control that you want to impose on her seems weird to me. Sure, some of it seems reasonable because she needs to learn to swear appropriately. But making her promise to never swear at school is weird. But I know Americans are more touchy about that stuff. I'm not sure all the gold in the world would be enough to bribe a British 15-year-old and not to swearing at school. And OP replies, I only say no swearing at school because they'll punish her for it, which is highly unfair. I don't know if it's just an American school thing or just Texas or what. But yeah, swearing gets you pops here unless your parents don't sign the paper to agree to allow the school to hit your kids, which I definitely would never allow, or 3 days in school suspension. That seems incredibly harsh punishment for something so minor and will absolutely affect her school record. I don't know if colleges and universities see the suspensions. I never got in trouble myself as a kid, but I don't want that on her record, and neither does she. I mean, that's actually very, very reasonable to have those kinds of concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hitting kids because they swear?
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Like, I don't even think you should be allowed to do that.
No, you shouldn't. Like, how is that happening in the 21st century? Like, it wasn't the case of the schools I went to.
Yeah, I mean, if you got caught swearing as a kid in school, they would tell you to stop swearing, but they wouldn't even necessarily give you a suspension or anything.
Yeah, certainly
like
they
that.
wouldn't go to a suspension as like a first thing. Like, maybe at worst a detention, but even that, it's more likely you'll just get scolded by the principal and told not to do that again.
Or even just the teacher, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think kids were generally pretty good about not using bad language in front of teachers because they were taught early on that if you did, then that you would either get scolded or sent to the principals or any number of things, right? Where you get to talk to the principal and they say, don't use that kind of language, right? All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Father, we came all the way here on our vacation to see this parade, and now Mary is going to miss it if she doesn't hurry. Where is she? Daughter, she's upstairs waving her hair. Father, for Pete's sake, hasn't she got a flag?
That's right. Mary, why are you waving your hair? And I have Mega Mint. Alright, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Manic Monday, folks. I hope your Monday is off to a great start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on bullying.
Don't bully people, and if someone else is bullying another person, don't incorporate them into, like, try and make their victim befriend them and be nice to them.
Yeah, stick up against bullying.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.